The 2022 Stanley Cup finals are finally here. I've got two great people to discuss it with. Ted from Sports USA, is that it? Sports USA, I'm so sorry. 20 plus years, I can't get it straight. and of course, Lou. Ted, give us some inside information. What's going on in at the heart of the matter? Give us your media perspective.
Well, inside information, I don't know if I can give you too much of that because I'm not there, but I can tell you that this is not a giant surprise, obviously, to anybody who's either spent a few dollars betting on the all the way through the Cup finals. And, this is two teams that have earned their way big time in different ways. I love just the fact that Colorado has grown into this, and they're where they belong at this stage of their growth as an organization. And Tampa Bay is just ridiculous. They are from another universe. I don't know what they're doing. They figure out a way to get it done with different third lines, different fourth lines, but you have the key core of that group there that with the Stamkos, with Kucherov, with Vasilevsky, those guys were just absolutely phenomenal in the last series. And sort of what I predicted, because experience is what gets it done in this time of the year. It just happens 90% of the time. You got a couple of examples of maybe like the St. Louis Blues a few years ago. Obviously, the Vegas Golden Knights, that came out of nowhere and may never happen again, but it doesn't happen very often.
Well, Lou, you saw the last round going a little differently. How are the NHL playoffs treating you overall? And
it was another tepid round. We made enough money to overcome the future positions that were lost with the Rangers. The good move was taking Tampa down 0-2, and I used the words in case the improbable happens. Well, the improbable did happen. Clearly, I've underestimated Tampa. It was a mistake. I will say this now because I'm the benefit of seeing what we've seen. To me, the success Tampa is experiencing now is in proportion with the frustration that Cooper had in the years when they'd get to Pittsburgh or Chicago and get beat. There were many years of frustration for this team, and I think that partially drives them. I am a little bit upset that I've underestimated them, but I sure do respect the heck out of them.
Yeah, you know what? What I want to just say real quick to that is, and a mirrored image in many ways is Colorado, because they've gone through the same frustration of a few years, high expectations. Everybody said, this is the team, and they flopped every time. And now they're there, and they are deep.
It's a process. Rarely do you just show up a young team and beat and win the whole thing. It's a process. It usually takes 3, 4, 5 times. Ask the Islanders, So it's been impressive what they've been able to do. You give a lot of credit to the team. I can't give enough credit to Cooper, though. That dude's a badass.
He is good.
I've been very fortunate in these NHL playoffs. It's been 14-5, I think 74%.
Wow.
So somehow, some way, I'm reading things well. But I really respected what you said right before we went on air, Lou. You were discussing basically how your perspectives have kind of changed and how you're going to react betting forward. Can you rehash what that was?
Well, I've coming to this point, I've been wrong about Tampa in 2 straight series. And the last thing I want to be is bullish or stubborn. The stubborn moniker, and thanks, I don't know why I couldn't pull it out. I just said it 2 minutes ago. I heard Chris Andrews at the South Point say to me decades ago, hey, Lou, you never the last thing you can be is stubborn. And if he says it, I buy it. And I don't want to be that. So I don't enter this Cup final with a lot of fire at this point. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm watching the situation. Colorado's had a lot of time off. That poses opportunity in game one for Tampa, but I don't know that I have a lot of strict ideas formulated just yet.
Yeah, I liked how you referenced, how confidence can waver. And I think that's important for everybody to realize that, hey, if things aren't going your way, you don't have to be stubborn and sit there and proceed with confidence and make excuses. Sometimes we just get a wrong read, or sometimes things just go differently. And I think that's it's really nice to be able to, admit that and expose yourself, because that's what betting is about. Nobody has all the answers. The very best are losing 45% of the time. So
everything I do gets written and published. So, I mean, I could compound it by being losing on my webpage and then telling you guys I'm a winner. That would make it even worse. So I'm not smart enough to really be able to bend the truth. So I just tell it like it is. But hey, those that have been with me long enough know it isn't over yet. There's a lot left to do. I'm just not sure I'm diving in head first game one with a lot of strong ideas.
Ted, how do you see game one going?
Well, there is a definite rest versus rust factor. And by the way, Lou, I tried to give you the winner in the last series, but you just
I wouldn't have it. Yes,
we tried.
Look, game one is very similar. There's some obvious things here. Very similar to game one of the Tampa Rangers series. You got 8 days off. You never know how a team's going to react to that. We have some injury factors here for Colorado that are real, okay? You don't have Nazem Kadri. You don't have Cogliano. I assume he's not going to be available for at least a few games. Kadri, if he's back at all, that's a giant plus. I'll be surprised if he is, but maybe they find a way to to tape him up and figure out a way to get him to play. But those are key guys, especially Kadri. And you have a confidence with with Tampa Bay that's coming in now, where they just feel like, hey, we're on a mission. We have a legacy thing here. Very special kind of a deal where it's not just what you do on the ice. They have this almost like this glow over the organization, like we belong here and this is our destiny kind of a thing. And that's tough to beat in a 7-game series. But if anybody could do it, it's the favored Colorado Avalanche, who are deeper and who the only disadvantage they have besides the Kadri thing, they don't have Vasilevsky and that kind of a confidence going in. But you got Colorado, who's 7-0 on the road in this postseason. They got 2 sweeps. They've had laughers, and they have basically come in and just say, try to beat us. We're too fast for you. Well, the Rangers were too fast for Tampa Bay for several periods, but that went away. That went away in a hurry as soon as Tampa figured it out. Now, can Tampa do that against a much better and deeper team? That's the question.
Well, what are you saying? Are they going to do it or not?
No, I like Colorado in 6.
Okay.
But I think the first game, you got to give the edge to Tampa Bay.
Okay. Lou, what about you? You have a series pick? Do you have a game one pick?
Here's how I've looked at it thus far. At plus 155, Tampa's hard to ignore with everything we've just got done discussing. And with the amount of rest that Colorado's had, it's been my experience that more times than not, it takes a while to get the frenetics of passion hockey back after 8 days. Tampa just got done doing it, so they remember it. Their legs remember it. So for me, if Tampa can get out of Colorado 1-1, they go down to Tampa. Is that series is at least a pick, or now Tampa's a slight favorite? Would that be correct?
Yes.
I think it would be around even.
Okay. So if that's the case, I could see myself maybe investing with Tampa for the series, watching these first 2 games occur, and hoping that it goes down to Tampa as a split. If it's any different, I'll deal with it then. I've also looked at the games props, and I want to like Colorado -1.5 plus 110, but I'm just not sure. I'm still wavering because I don't want to be stubborn.
Let's look at the goal. Let's take a look at the goal scored. The game one of the two previous series. What did we have? I lost track here. We had a 6-2 game with Tampa Bay, and we had a 9-6 game to start the series. Do you guys see a little loosey-goosey game one, or do you see a bear down type game one?
I think it's going to be a little bit more wide open. Look, that's the way that Colorado plays anyway. Okay. So why wouldn't Tampa Bay do that to whatever their strengths are at the time? But they have, for the most part, older legs. Okay. So their bounce back ability, that brings them down a small notch to me in game one. Okay. Because they get a couple days off. Look, Colorado's going to be fresh. They're going to be flying. They've got the guys to go out there and skate their asses off for the next 2 weeks. And that's what they're going to do. So now can Tampa Bay put on the clutches and hold them to what they did? An unbelievable job in the neutral zone against the Rangers for the last 3 games. Just unbelievable. They really, nothing New York did. All of their strengths were taken away. They had very few rushes.
After 2 games.
Yeah.
What Tampa learned the first 2 games? You don't want to skate with the younger legs, and there's no way they're coming out to skate with Colorado game 1. No way.
Yeah.
They just got done learning. Their game is from the goal out. They're going to have to go in there and play the exact same hockey they got done playing, and I think they can transfer that. It's going to be Colorado. Sure, they're going to be flying around, but when Tampa flew around against the Rangers in the last series, didn't work out well for them. And again, I think that's the one thing that I don't think I'm being stubborn about is for 45 years I've been betting this, and the team with 9 days off rarely comes back and can be efficient with their passes, tape-to-tape precision. That's what they lose.
Yep, I totally agree. But at the same time, let's not compare the Rangers to the Avalanche. There is no compare. This is a different league, totally different league. This is the elite of the elite, and Tampa's going to have to do everything and a lot more in this match to beat them.
Agree.
Here's my outlook on it. I'm going to be a little bit on an island here. I did already take Tampa Bay for a smaller amount than I'd like in the series, and unlike you, Ted, I got a funny feeling everybody kind of thinks Tampa's going to walk away with this game 1. And even though I like Tampa in this series, I have a suspicion that somehow Colorado walks out with this first game. But there's no way in hell I'm going to lay that price. And I'm not stubborn enough, or I need to have something on Tampa Bay at plus 155, 160. But I think I'm going to get a Colorado win, and I'm going to add on to my Tampa Bay at a really nice price in the mid 200s or high 200s. And that's the way that I'm going to attack it. I just think Tampa Bay, over the long run, they've got 4 or 5 guys spread out amongst their lines that can take control and really take control over the game and stuff another team. I think we've got obviously the best goalie by far. We barely talked about him. He's a suction cup. He's just a vacuum cleaner. And I like to have the best goalie behind me. So hopefully Colorado wins game 1. I can add to my series bet. And then tonight, boy, I wish that was a strong 5.5 over, because I do I'm kind of warming up to the idea that there's going to be a lot of goals scored here. I just think Tampa's going to just let a little bit of relaxation seep in and allow a little bit of loose play like they did with that Rangers beginning of the series. What do you guys think?
Well, my only issue with the over, and I lean, and certainly in game 1, I agree with you on the overs, but Tampa Bay doesn't score a lot of goals any game. Okay, they just score enough goals.
Right.
So it's Colorado that has got to come up with your more of your total if you're looking at the game one situation, I think.
But they're giving up goals. I mean, their defense does give up goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody's defense gives up goals. Look, bottom line is you got Vasilevsky. It's not an elimination game, so you can relax. He might actually give up a few. He doesn't give up anything when it matters. But in game one, I expect it to be a little bit more wide open, even though they're going to be testing the waters both sides. You still got to figure out a way to deal with Colorado speed, and that's not going to be easy for Tampa.
Lou, any follow-up? Any final thoughts?
No, I can see myself starting with Tampa on the series price.
Yeah, and let's talk about the goaltending as well, guys. Vasilevsky is Vasilevsky. We don't have to go over him. He's unbelievable. I mean, his numbers, what I read out in my post-game show leading up in the last series, just leading up into the Stanley Cup final, all of the zeros and the 0.14 goals again. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Show your paperwork.
Okay, you want to see my paperwork? Here it is, boys. That's my game elimination game right there from and by the way, it has a Kings logo. This is an old printout. I use that. Anyway, to me, it's going to be fascinating to see if Darcy Kemper does what he's supposed to do. He hasn't played regularly in a while. It's been a few weeks, more than a few weeks. So that's another factor. How's he going to come into this series like, hey, I'm ready to go? Maybe, maybe not. And he's not Vasilevsky, but he doesn't have to be if Colorado does what they need to do.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good digestion of this. I think well, you like Colorado, Ted, and Lou and I are kind of leaning a little bit toward Tampa. Well, I'm strongly on Tampa, but
and I'm not. I'm gonna play position ball. I really want to watch a game or two and be able to get involved as we go. And so I'm going to be very conservative on the pre-flop. I can see that. I'm going to watch a game or two and formulate some ideas.
But isn't this also the perfect example, guys, of as the series goes, you may get some great value on the team that just lost a game, and you could go maybe a few times on either side and still end up ahead. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, I used that exact same strategy in NBA. I took Boston at plus plus 160, and then after game one, I took the other side 160, and I just was done with the series. So
why is this any different?
Well, I'm not going to buy back Colorado. If Tampa takes a lead, I'm not going to buy back Colorado. But I'm going to buy more Tampa. Again, to reiterate, I've just got a small opening series play on Tampa, and I might taste a little bit of the over. And like Lou, I'm going to go game by game and see basically what the lay of the land is.
And exactly what was the line that you got on Tampa?
Plus 160 for the series. Okay. And then I might go over 6 flat tonight for some, but it's going to be.
That's a Wednesday night game. Is it not?
Yeah, it doesn't go tonight.
Yeah, it better be, or I'm in trouble. I haven't written my pregame show yet. I'm going to have to ad-lib the hell out of it.
Well, Ted, I hope one of these games are a 0-0 tie all the way through, so you have all that time to kill with no.
I have no highlights to play. You are such a jerk sometimes.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? It's going to be a fun series, and the fact that there's nobody who could complain that we didn't get a great matchup. Okay, whatever happens, this is like a dream. This is one of the better matchups we've had in a long time. Because
I agree.
You know, and the storylines for both sides are so fantastic. But let's face it, if Tampa Bay wins this thing, it's a legacy. It's a total legacy thing. It's something that you won't see in a couple of generations, and that's pretty special stuff.
Oops.
Look at
Yeah.
that. There it is.
There it is.
Amazon, baby.
Ted's a great guy. Buy his book. And
Touch
go
it.
to jamlou.com and like and subscribe, or don't like and subscribe. We appreciate you joining us. This has been fun times. Too bad we didn't do this all season. I'm going to miss doing this with you guys.
Well, maybe we could do a wrap-up show when it's all over and figure out some quick off-season stuff.
Nobody cares. They when it ends, they're done.
They're done.
Yes. And we have College World Series to focus on, gentlemen.
Even Hockey Town shuts down, right?
All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
We
appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you next time, some way, somehow.
You got it. Stanley Cup Final, Sports USA. See you there, boys.